Imagine you're outside and you have trouble breathing. Imagine your water comes out of the tap yellow and it is undrinkable. Imagine the area around your house is filled with trash so you can't even see the ground. These are the effects of pollution. There are many types of pollution, however, the main three types are air pollution, land pollution, and water pollution. Most of the time, you cannot visually observe air pollution. One of the most common types of air pollution that most people contribute to every day is the burning of gas to make your car drive. Another common form is from factories. All types of air pollution are caused by gases entering the atmosphere. This is a type of pollution that is largely contributing to climate change. This graph shows the best and worst places to breathe air in the United States and metropolitan areas. Surprisingly, Fairbanks, Alaska has the worst air quality. Equally surprising is the fact that a city in New York has the best air quality. Water pollution can be visible or invisible as well. Water pollution is caused by things such as trash being dumped into the ocean, chemical companies dumping in lakes, or oil spills from rigs. This affects our animal life significantly, but also can affect the quality of the water we drink. For water pollution, we have a graph of the countries that pollute the oceans the most. The top polluting country on this list is China, and the least polluting country is the United States. Land pollution is commonly observed in our everyday lives. Some main forms are pesticides and fertilizers from farms, garbage in landfills, and litter from your everyday person. Not only is this an eyesore, it can also affect our quality of life by impacting things such as our food sources. Our graph of the United States for land pollution shows the tons of trash per person that are discarded in each state. Some of the states are higher than others, however, there is overall so many tons of trash being discarded per person that this is a large issue. Pollution has always been a major issue in the world, especially since the peak of the Industrial Revolution. In the smoke of the Industrial Revolution, Denora, Pennsylvania was left with a lethal haze that after 5 days, nearly 14,000 people had severe respiratory problems and 40 people were killed. The haze was caused by local smelting plants with unchecked dumping of pollutants into the air. Similarly, in the midst of the industrial boom, Japan was faced with a similar disaster that occurred in Pennsylvania, but it affected the water, not the air. In Minamata, Japan, the big industry in the small town was releasing large amounts of mercury into the nearby water source that leached into local people's wells and waterways, poisoning the local people and animals and killing nearly 2,000. In the small town of Pripyat, Ukraine, a failed reactor test at Chernobyl leached radiation to the surrounding land for miles. To this day, and the land is still unlivable for miles around the Chernobyl. Hundreds were killed and thousands were poisoned with radiation. Air pollution was first looked at as an issue by Congress in 1970, but there are major changes when the Clean Air Act was enacted in 1990. Overall, this is trying to reduce the damage to the ozone, reduce acid rain, and the amount of toxins that are released in the air. Also, the goal is to improve the air quality and visibility throughout the United States. The Federal Water Pollution Control Act of 1948 was the first major U.S. law to address water pollution. In 1972, the law became commonly known as the Clean Water Act. It established a basic structure for regulating pollutant discharges into the water in the U.S. and gave the EPA authority to implement pollution control programs. The Pollution Prevention Act of 1990 was set to establish rules for pollution distribution into the environment. Led by the EPA, there are 4 rules when it comes to the distribution of pollutants. 1, when feasible, pollutants should be prevented or reduced. 2, pollution that can't be prevented should be recycled in an environmentally friendly manner. 3, pollution that cannot be recycled should be treated in an environmentally friendly manner. And 4, disposal or release into the environment should be a last resort and should be conducted in an environmentally friendly manner. High levels of air pollution causes heart attacks, breathing problems, birth defects, reproductive failures, and diseases. Acid rain contains nitric and sulfuric acids that are created by oxides and sulfur oxide from burning fossil fuels into the air, which can damage trees and aquatic life. Water tends to be heavily polluted by dumping of garbage and chemicals by industrial plants, health centers, and individuals. This can cause serious health problems in humans, including neurological effects, respiratory problems, stomach and liver illness, and rashes. Contaminated land and soil causes various problems on the skin, respiratory system problems, and even different kinds of cancers. These toxic substances come directly through eating fruits and vegetables that have been grown in polluted soils, being consumed through drinking water, and breathing in polluted air. Deforestation is the biggest concern when it comes to land degradation and soil erosion. In order to prevent air pollution, we can do things such as ride our bikes and take public transit. For this to happen, we would need public transit as a more widely offered option. Additionally, there can be stricter standards on companies who release toxins into the air from their plants. First of all, to prevent water pollution, we can make stricter standards on companies to make sure they are not putting toxins in our water. Also, we can reduce our use of plastics that harm animals when they get into the water. To prevent land pollution, we can avoid littering and unnecessary dumping of materials. In addition, we could try to use materials that can be composted or are environmentally safe when disposed of. Overall, these are just some of the ways we can help to prevent pollution. However, there are many more. As a society, we need to do better to protect our earth so we can live longer, healthier lives. We need to recognize that this is a significant problem that is affecting us all, and we need to work together to fix it. Our environment can look like the one on the left or the one on the right. It is up to us to decide.